Hey guys, welcome back to a new Call of Duty Mobile video, and in this video we'll rate all the assault rifles in Call of Duty Mobile from the worst to best. So I'm already in the process of rating all the weapons in their specific categories, and the only one which was left out is for the assault rifles. So the new season 7 update already came in, but we already had 30 seasons in Call of Duty Mobile, and I thought now might be the best time to do this. We have 22 assault rifles in Call of Duty Mobile, which is more than any other category in Call of Duty Mobile. It's obvious that Call of Duty Mobile loves assault rifles, so let's begin ranking them from 22 to number 1. At number 22 we have the M16. I've never been a fan of burst weapons in any game, to be honest. It's no different in Call of Duty Mobile. M16 is decently good in multiplayer and battle royale, but if in case you end up missing your burst shots, the opposition is definitely going to hit you. So, and also M16 is one of those assault rifles which never really got a legendary or a mythic version, which I kind of feel bad for M16. Again, even if it had a legendary or a mythic version, I don't really think anyone would consider buying it. At number 21 we have the Swordfish. The exact same things as I said earlier. Never a fan of burst weapons in any game, and Swordfish is no different. I believe Swordfish was decently good. I would say one of the best burst guns in the game, but still not among the meta and not really among my favorites as well. So Swordfish stays at number 21. At number 20 we have the FR. So when this assault rifle came, I was actually really excited to use this. I mean, it's basically famous, which is one of the most common guns in any shooter game that you must have ever played. But FR was not really good. It has a very lackluster bullet spread. It has a very low damage and also slightly slower ADS. Like, I clearly remember it was there in the battle pass of the season, which was called Rogue Agent, something like that. And I used to enjoy using this. I gave it a fair try, but it was no match to the other weapons in the game. And I remember when FR came out, HVK was the meta, so you had no chance using this in front of tryhards. At number 19, HVK 30. I have said this earlier, I usually hate weapons in which there is one attachment that makes it powerful, and if you take that attachment away, that weapon is nothing. HVK was no different. I would say if you like ask the Call of Duty pros, majority would say that they would actually hated the HVK meta. I mean, the one with the large caliber ammo, which had like literally infinite range, and with this high fire rate of HVK, it really made it very lethal because it was literally 4-shot anywhere across the map. I believe HVK meta was one of the most hated meta after the Akimbo one. HVK stays at number 19. At number 18 we have the LK24. Not among the meta, but still a very solid gun to use. It could be one of the favorite guns for new people coming into the game to use. I remember using this even before Gunsmith. That's when I got to use LK24 first, and it was really nice, but I never used this to try hard in the game, made me MP or BR. At number 17 we have the CR56 AMAX. When CR56 AMAX was supposed to come, a lot of people were expecting from this gun, because obviously CR56 AMAX was one of the meta weapons in Call of Duty Warzone, so it was really believed that it would dominate the BR scene. You know, finally AK-47 would have a worthy competitor, but unfortunately it wasn't the case. CR56 AMAX was not among the best assault rifles in the game. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad, but not a match to the best assault rifles, made be MP or BR. Stays at number 17. At number 16 we have the HBR A3. I mean, HBR was obviously one of the first initial into quotes pay to win weapon in the game. It was hyped so much. I remember back in the time, YouTube leaks or YouTubers used to just spam HBR leaks, or when is the free to play version coming in, or when is HBR being available for everyone to use. All those leaks used to be flooded on the internet, and the point is, the wait went on so long that when we actually got HBR, no one really used it, and which was really kind of sad. The thing is, it wasn't bad when it came out, obviously after the Gunsmith, but the point when HBR came out as free to play for everyone, there were many other assault rifles in the game who were a better competitor to HBR, KN-44 and DRH, just to name a few. So HBR stays at number 16. At number 15 is the newly added Odin. It's really good, definitely one of the most unique weapons in the game. Odin is really powerful in battle royale. Now this is something I have to give it to Odin, because in BR we have like a lot of HP, maximum 300 HP is possible, so in that case Odin can be really deadly, and I've seen a lot of pro players use Odin among their custom loadouts in competitive scene as well. But considering the overall picture of Odin, considering whether it's among my favorites or not, Odin stays at number 15. At number 14 we have the M4, one of the most classic assault rifles in any shooter game, one of the best guns for newbies to use in the game. Damage is really lackluster in M4, which is why it lacks in BR. Multiplayer never really was meta weapon. M4 is just one of those weapons that you really need to use to just get off the ground, just understand the mechanics of the game, and once you get past that, there are definitely other better assault rifles in the game to use instead of M4. At number 13 we have the ICR. I believe ICR was also one of the first pay to win weapons. Like, I remember the first time I saw someone using ICR, and I saw someone use it in lobby, and everyone was asking that person how we got that specific weapon. In fact, the version that I'm using in the video right now that you must be seeing, that's the exact version which was available only through crates or through bundles. I don't exactly remember, but ICR is one weapon I believe it never got a nerf since it came out or since the gunsmith update. But just the point is, there are other weapons which kept on being added in the game, which eventually ended up being better than ICR. So with all that in mind, ICR stays at number 13. At number 12, we have the Manowar. The 3-shot meta was actually one of the most remembered metas, I believe. When we had DRH, ASM10 and Manowar dominating the entire scene, and then obviously Manowar got a buff, so everyone in the lobbies was using Manowar. I liked using this weapon. There are a lot of free to play skins for Manowar released, but one of the best one being the Cardinal one. I have to say this, that skin that we got, which basically had a DRH like iron sight, that hands down till date has to be the best free to play skin ever released in the game, period. Now obviously there are talks that we might get a free legendary version of Manowar. I think it's everywhere on the internet. Let's hope that happens. But Manowar was a really good weapon in MP, not so much in BR, and also among my few favorite weapons in the game, but not as favorite as all the weapons that I'm going to mention above. So Manowar stays at number 12. At number 11, we have the KN44, the first ever gun that I upgraded right after the gunsmith was KN44, and it took all my XP cards. Like, you guys remember the first weapon that you must have upgraded. KN44 was definitely the meta in season 8. I have a very soft corner for KN44. It was really good back in the time. Now it's not that viable, and it was never viable in Battle Royale. So because of that, KN44 stays at number 11, but I really love this weapon a lot. At number 10, we have the BK57. The reason why I've put this above Manowar or KN44 or ICR is that the first time I ever reached legendary, BK57 was the meta, and I was using the BK57 the very first time I reached legendary. And also BK57 was the second best choice among AR alongside HBR, because HBR back in the time was pay to win, so BK57 was the second best choice next to HBR. With all that in mind, BK57 actually holds a very special place in my heart, so it stays at number 10. At number 9, we have the Kilo 141. I did not use this weapon a lot, I'll be honest, because for the past 3-4 seasons I'm so much gravitated towards SMG over ARs. When Kilo came out, the first thing that I tried was making a custom loadout for Kilo, using it in Battle Royale, and hope that it was better than AK-47, but it was not even close to AK-47. Obviously, it dominated the multiplayer scene. I mean, it was definitely among the top 5 for the last 4 to 5 months in Call of Duty Mobile, so I never really used it, but unless, of course, I'm really wanted to try hard, Kilo 141 is a very solid choice to use in the game. So Kilo 141 at number 9. At number 8, we have M30, which would be the first assault rifle which challenged AK-47 to take the number 1 spot among Battle Royale. It has to be M30. Like, I remember the first time I lost a fight 1v1 in BR, and the opposition was using obviously the mythic M13, and I was using one of the best AK-47 loadouts in the time, and I lost the fight. That was the time when I knew, okay, M13 is something else, can take over, which is what it exactly did. All the assault rifles that I'm mentioning right now, there are very few which was a meta in multiplayer and Battle Royale simultaneously, and M13 was one of them. All that in mind, M13 at number 8. At number 7, we have the DRH. I said this earlier, I didn't really like weapons which has that one unique attachment, but to be honest, I would make an exception for DRH. I did enjoy DRH, even with the OTM mag. And the thing is, OTM was available as a unique attachment pre-gunsmith as well, which is what really made DRH really OP. And probably DRH was one of the most used 3-shot weapons, I would say. Like, when I used to use Manowar or even ASM10, DRH used to really dominate, and is one of those weapons which used to be used by a lot of people among the other 3-shot weapons. In the current new season that we are going to get, it is there in the ground loot, so I'm low-key hoping DRH makes it among the top 3 ARs in Battle Royale. At number 6, we have the Peacekeeper. I would say Peacekeeper was one of my favorite guns to use, which was not among the meta, and which I really wanted it should make it in the meta, which is why I remember making a video for Peacekeeper almost an year ago, that Peacekeeper is really underrated. Peacekeeper was one of the first weapons which got a mythic version, because Peacekeeper has one of the most unique set of attachments than any other assault rifle in the list. And so I'll be honest, Peacekeeper was the first gun in the game that I unlocked the diamond camo for, because I used to love using that weapon, and I'm so happy in season 1. I'm pretty sure Peacekeeper is among the top 5 weapons in the game. Recently I've used it, I've seen it being used in the pro scene as well, and I'm finally happy that Peacekeeper is getting the respect that it deserves. So Peacekeeper at number 6. At number 5 we have the almighty AK-47. AK-47 was never the meta in multiplayer. It was really good. AK-47 also could be a 3-shot weapon alongside ASM-10, DRH and Manowar, but again when you consider those 3, I think AK would definitely be the last choice. Don't get me wrong, AK was initially one of the first weapons that I used in multiplayer. I remember I used to just play search and destroy takeoff all the time, and AK was the one that I used to use because I mean it's obvious, right? AK-47 is one of the most common guns in any shooter game. When we just talk about meta, which meta AK-47 really dominate, it has to be the BR. This assault rifle has been the best since day one. Pre-gunsmith, you just don't even consider any other weapon. AK-47, you can just choose it blindly. Even after the gunsmith, AK-47 was so good even among the ground loot that people won't ever bother picking up a custom loader for AK-47. Later on, it obviously got a lot of nerf, a lot of recoil, which is what somewhat made it bad, and that's when M13 took over AK-47. But again, recently when AK-47 got that signature attachment, the GRE combo grip, that's when again AK made it into the top 2, I would say, among the assault rifles in the game, and also it got a mythic version which it rightfully deserved. So AK-47 at number 5. At number 4 we have the AK-117. I have very sweet memories using this assault rifle in MP as well as BR. AK-117 was one of the first weapons that I used among the high fire rate weapons. After the Type 25 got a nerf in the initial season, the second go-to choice of anyone was AK-117, and the camo that you are seeing in this video, this one is one of my favorite camos for AK-117. I remember it was available through the free store back in the time. I would say whenever people get past M4 or say ICR and when they start to pick a high fire rate assault rifle, I would say M13 is a good choice, but also AK-117 is really a good choice. A lot of personal preferences also went into this, but with all that in mind, AK-117 at number 4. At number 3 we have the Type 25. There are literally handful of weapons in the game that I believe made into the meta twice. I mean, they were in the meta and then they obviously got nerfed, and then later on they again came back into the meta. I think Type 25 is the one that I clearly remember. Type 25 was the only assault rifle that I ever used in the first 3 ranked series. It was that good because back in the time I did not knew in Call of Duty there was a term called nerfing a specific weapon. I used to think a weapon stays the way it is. I didn't even knew it got a nerf. So when it came to ranked series 4, that's when I started using different weapons other than Type 25, which is when I realized that Type 25 is not as good as it was before. You just see all the OG YouTubers for Call of Duty Mobile today. If you ask them which would be one of those assault rifle in the top 5, I'm pretty sure Type 25 would be one among the 5. And also obviously a couple of seasons before Type 25 made back into the meta, all the new players in the game got to know the dominance of Type 25, and it got so many legendary versions as well, and rightfully it deserved so. So I just have so many good memories of Type 25, so I had to put it at number 3. Now let's go to the number 2 spot, and at number 2 we have the ASM-10. I really was not a fan of the 3-shot meta initially because I obviously came from Type 25 and then AK-117, so 3-shot meta was slowly being discovered by a lot of people. We had ASM-10 just being super dominant up close. All you needed was 3 taps from ASM-10 and anyone goes down. I initially didn't like it, but later on, slowly and steadily, I started using this and I slowly got a knack of it, and I enjoyed this weapon the most. I'm talking about a time before Gunsmith. This was really dominant. I used to use ASM-10 in the time when we had Akimbo Fennec, in the time when we had the HVK meta, and right after the HVK meta got nerfed, I think that's when the 3-shot meta was again very dominant. Everyone using DRH, Manowar and ASM-10. Manowar being on top. Despite that, I used to use ASM-10 because it really was one of my favorite weapons to use. It has one of the most leanest iron sights, I would say, one of the sweetest sounds, I would say, among the slow fire rate assault rifles, and one of the few assault rifles in the game that I actually have a diamond camo for. Now when I was looking back at all those times when I used to use different assault rifles in the game, I have one of the best memories using ASM-10. So ASM-10 at number 2. At number 1, we have the AS-Val. So when I was making this list, I was trying to think of a time when I used that specific weapon the most. I used the AS-Val when second championship was on. We had to play like 30 matches with your friends to qualify for stage 3. I have like 2 accounts. I had friends in both the accounts, and when I played those 60 matches in all, literally the one weapon that I used in all those 60 matches is the AS-Val. It was my favorite assault rifle to use in the game. After Type 25 and AK-117, if there is is a fast fire rate assault rifle that I fell in love with, it would be the AS-12. I never liked the M13 or Kilo 141, but I absolutely loved AS-12. The thing is, it has one of the highest mobilities. It's as good as an SMG, but also has the traits of an assault rifle. Also, one of the unique things about AS-12 is that it has no suppressor at all, and it has one attachment which increases the bullet speed. So I don't know if this is right or not, but I would say among all the assault rifles, AS-12 has the highest bullet speed, and bullet speed is a term which is very underrated in the game because it's not available in the stats. But I think bullet speed is one of the most crucial elements for any weapon in the game because it decides how fast your bullet would reach the specific target. I only know 3 weapons in the game which has attachments which increases the bullet speed. And also, when I fall in love with a gun, I obviously experiment it in BR because I always loved multiplayer and BR both equally. Dedicatedly use AS-12 in Battle Royale as well because it was not among the ground loot back then. I have made a montage for it. It was one of the most unique experiences using AS-12 in Battle Royale. All the things that I mentioned right now, AS-12 takes the #1 spot in my list. That would be all, guys. That was my list rating all the assault rifles in the game from the worst to best. If you watched this video to the end, I'm very excited to know your list. So that would be all for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching this all the way till the end. If you guys did, do share it with your friends. If you enjoyed the video, I'm pretty sure they would too, and consider subscribing to this channel if you like the content that I make, and I'll see you in the next one.